Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We have DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah, what up, what up?
DJ D Miles is MIA, unfortunately. Once it's
his ass fixed.
It's gonna start again. The MIA
He's
is
getting
gonna
his
start.
ass fixed again.
Yeah, he's getting his ass fixed, as always. We got a special guest though, man. We've been speaking about this new hotel in Las Vegas that opened, Mega Hotel, Resorts World. They got a mega club in there, a day club in there called RU Day Club. They're set to open the Zouk nightclub probably in the fall, winter. But this is a mega club. It's doing crazy numbers. The hotel's doing crazy numbers. You know, it's really kind of exploded into the Las Vegas scene. And we got a special guest who's the resident DJ there, and I've known him since Omnia Cabo when I was going. He worked at Hakkasan Group, and he was the resident in Mexico at Omnia in Cabo. And now he's in Vegas, and he's holding RU nightclub and Zouk down. And we're really happy to have DJ Flight here. Flight, what's good, man?
What's good, man? What's good, fellas?
How you doing,
to be
man?
here.
Yeah.
Listen to this shit. Listen to every single episode, I think. So.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of surreal. It's kind of surreal, man. Yeah, and I was stoked to be here.
Yeah, man.
He's gonna be listening to himself the next week and be like, "Fuck, I can't believe I'm on here."
I know, right? I'm gonna try not to listen to myself.
I originally met Flight when I got booked to Cabo. And I did Omnia Cabo, and I think I flew out there for like 2 days. I'm not sure. It was like a day or 2 days.
Yeah, you're a quick trip. Yeah, you're there quick
trip. And because I think I had a gig after, but a lot of people go out there and they stay a couple other extra days, right? When they do it. Yeah.
Everybody kind of like did that as like their vacation thing. So it's like we'll come out to Cabo, we'll stay, we'll play, we'll just enjoy Cabo for like 3-4 days, and then kind of get back to reality.
So like,
so
the venue is beautiful. The hotel is like gorgeous. It's like an insane. It's probably like there's this entryway right in the hotel that like every Instagram influencer takes a picture of. Like everyone comes to that hotel and it's like this dome shape, right? Yeah.
They call it the Skywalk, the Omnia Skywalk. Yeah.
So when I get there, there's like a handler, and like the handler's like, "Hey, do you want a picture, in front of the skywalk?" And I'm like, "No." Yeah. And they're like, "You sure?" Like everyone wants his picture. I'm like, "I don't want that picture, yo." Like I was just like, "Give me my hotel room." Like I just want to lay down and shit. But I did Omnia Cabo. I met with Flight, great DJ, like super friendly. We were hanging out, we were chilling, and the spot is super fun, man. I mean. I think I got a little lit, like I got a little nice.
Yeah, that's fun, man.
I got a little carried away. I was like dancing with some of the bar staff,
This dude crushed the reggaeton. You probably threw down one of the best reggaeton sets like that's ever been laid down at that club.
Nah, don't say
that. No. And then Crook's like, yo, he's like, I love to hear resident DJs play. Like I love to hear you play what you normally play. Like play your shit. I'm like, all right. So like I get back on when he got done. He's like, hey bro, where's the cumbias? I'm like, I'm kind of Mexican. I'm not that Mexican though. Like we like, it's like an open format club out there.
Yeah.
But man, you crushed it though. That shit was fun.
Oh no, man. This is a while ago before like reggaeton was really, really kind of like exploding, right? Before
they made
Bad
a comeback
Bunny request, right?
Yeah.
Before a lot of these Latin DJs started turning into reggaeton DJs, right? Kind of
exactly.
And then these, I think it's great. Like a lot of these Latin DJs have, like, they don't have to just play hip hop and music that's outside of their culture. Pretty much, they can kind of embrace their culture a little bit more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're digging even deeper, like the childhood shit. They're like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't grow up listening to like cumbia, and like I wasn't around any of that shit. Like I would hear salsa merengue outside, but like I didn't have that culture. But it's really dope to see a lot of Latin DJs really dig deep into their childhood and like bring all of that music back, and then like remix shit, right? And then hear that shit in the clubs. But yeah, so we linked up. It was really fun bar staff you had over there. I think I played swag surfing surfing in the whole.
Yeah. Oh, motherfuckers lose their minds, bro.
And then
their minds over there.
And then the bar staff like stood on the bar and started doing the surf and shit. It was like they were like super fun out there. I just remember that and whatnot. Yeah. So you were the resident DJ there, and there were like big names on the list. There was like so like almost every EDM DJ used to go there, like Tiesto, Diplo, Cascade, All of
Pretty much
them.
everybody, man.
Alesso,
Pretty much
all of them, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So you were the resident there, but you're OG. You're originally from like the San Diego area in California, right?
Yeah, so I'm from a little town called San Luis Obispo, and that's like it's directly between LA and San Francisco on the coast. So it's just like a sleepy surf town. But we had a college, Cal Poly, which was pretty crazy. Like we'd have a lot of good nights, a lot of big bar scenes. So like all the bars are on one block. So there's like 8 or 9 bars, and they're like 4 spots with DJs. That kind of everybody was trying to get a spot at these venues. And there was one spot where I played called Slow Brew, which was a live concert venue. So every night they had like really, really good bookers. So the bookers, they booked like they booked No Doubt before No Doubt was a thing.
Wow.
ASAP Rocky, like I opened for Too Short, E40.
Oh shit.
Willie Nelson was there, like just everybody from
crazy.
Like everybody from every genre of music would play there, and it was like an intimate, 800, 900 person venue.
800,
So
900? Wow.
Yeah, so it was small, but they had pretty big shows. They had like basically everybody from every walk of music had played there. So it was kind of a cool venue where people were touring from San Francisco down to LA. They would usually stop at Slow Brew, and then so we get a lot of good artists. We even had like Snoop Dogg there. So just anybody and everybody pretty much came through there. So that's where I was originally from.
So then what made you move to Mexico? Like what made you go over there?
Yeah, so I lived in SLO like my whole life, San Luis Obispo. I lived SLO my whole life. And then I had a contracting business, so I like work construction during the day. We did government contracting. So like my dad had a business and I started a business in like 2012. So I did that during the day. So I'd like wake up at 5, run that shit till like 5. And then I coached high school basketball for like 7 years.
Jesus.
So I do basketball after, and then I DJ'd.
Damn, man.
Like
Stay busy.
3-4 nights a week. And I was like, I started to like, have a family, have kids. And then when I turned 30, I tore my Achilles. And like everything stopped. Like couldn't go outside and work anymore. Couldn't do shit. So I was just like sitting at home. And then that shit cost me so much money. I had insurance, but it's still like the surgery alone cost me probably like 15 G's out of pocket.
Wow.
And then rehab, like I went to Santa Barbara to rehab. So I'm like, I'm gonna spend money to make sure I do this right. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like you've been working, I probably work 60, 70 hours a week minimum for 10 years, like after I turned 21. I'm like, okay, you worked all that time and now what? Like you kind of lost your 20s. So I'm like, fuck this. I went on a vacation to Mexico actually to get a root canal in Playa Del Carmen. And I met this guy named Uziel at the Thompson Hotel. And there's a Catch restaurant there. And I was like, they had just opened. And anyway, so I'm like, I hit this dude up like on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in town, whatever, this and that. He's like, yeah, just come up to the nightclub, because they had a club there at night. And so I went up there and I stayed in touch with Uzi. I'm like, yo, I think I'm gonna move to Mexico. So when I got back home, I listed my house for sale, sold in like 2 weeks, and then lived with my mom for like 3 months, found a place to live in Playa del Carmen, and fucking moved to Mexico, dude.
Really?
I said, fuck it.
What?
God damn, what an adventure that was.
I know.
Yeah.
He's speeding through a lot of this shit. Wait, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened down there that made you want to move though? Like what happened?
No, so when I tore my Achilles, I was just done, because like pouring concrete and dealing with fucking government people and like Caltrans and shit, that shit sucks, bro.
Right.
Like there's nothing fun about it. And it was cool. It was very stable, but yeah.
But while you were in Mexico, what happened? You just had so much fun there? Or?
Oh, it was fucking so dope, bro. Playa del Carmen. Playa del Carmen is one of the best cities in the world. So you have the ocean, which is like I guess you'd consider it like First Avenue is the ocean. And then because the avenues go by 5. So the first street up from the ocean is called La Quinta Avenida. It's 5th Avenue. It's a 2.5 mile pedestrian thoroughfare with restaurants and bars everywhere. I'm like everywhere, like 2.5 miles of just restaurants, bars, and shops. And there's no cars, nothing. And it was just so cool. Like the people were so fucking nice and everybody was so dope. And I'm like, yo, this is amazing. And then like I met a couple people, like I met Uzi, who was from Austin, Texas. He got deported to Mexico for whatever, I think so. Yeah, but he's like, yo, Mexico life is good. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like we hung out, and just the place is beautiful. So if you don't know, Playa del Carmen's like 45 minutes north of Tulum. which is where everybody goes, like where we
Tulum?
basically Tulum, yeah, like where everybody, all the Instagram thoughts are at right now. So
yeah, why did Tulum blow up all of a sudden last year? Like it was
no idea, man.
Is it
no
just
idea.
someone told
Because it costs $2 to live there for 2 days, bro.
well that's
You know,
It's cheap.
Tulum is the most fucked up shit, bro. Everybody fucked up Tulum because Tulum used to be like this hippie paradise where you go there and you do yoga on the beach and a bunch of palapas. So there's no buildings over 3 stories. It's all palapa buildings on the beach. And it was like literally hippie paradise. And then you'd have all your like techno raves and like house music shows out there. And it was dope. And then all of a sudden it just blew up during the pandemic for some reason. And now everything's expensive as fuck. Like it's
Really?
so expensive. In Mexico, how things kind of work is like the cartel never messed with Tulum because there wasn't any reason for them to mess with Tulum really, besides like there's a festival because it's like there's no lights, so everything's once it's dark, like you'd have the moon, you have the full moon parties or whatever, and that was it. But now that there's restaurants with bottle service and this and that, it's like the cartel has a reason to sell drugs because people want drugs. So now you have the cartel and you have more than one like arm of the cartel. You have a couple different cartels in there. So now there's little issues here and there, and it's what happens everywhere in Mexico. It's what happened to like Acapulco. It happened in Cabo a few years back. So it's crazy, but yeah, Tulum's expensive and it's still beautiful, but it's just a little bit different,
Wow. So social media literally fucked up Tulum.
Yeah, I mean, people still love it, but it's just like when I was there, like I lived there from 16 to 18, it was way different. And even before I was there, it's probably way different, I actually ended up going to a destination wedding in Tulum at one point. And I kind of decided, I'm like, okay, like, when the guys are making the announcement, they're like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they don't really like MC or they don't really like, can't really run the weddings. So I was like, shit, I'm just going to start a wedding business out here and I'll just get all the destination weddings. So like, I don't know, that kind of worked pretty good for a little bit. And then, yeah. Man.
So wait, you went to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
For a vacation.
Yeah, to get a root canal.
Root canal, right?
Yeah.
Ended up hanging out. You're like, I love the vibe here. I bet you probably had some good money saved up, and you were like, yo, it's super affordable to live out here, right? Probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I could really stretch my dollar living out here. And there's a market for me to make some money on top of that. Right. Exactly. In DJing and doing these wedding and these nightclubs here and there. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were out there hustling. You were like bringing that American hustle, right?
Kind of, sort of, man. I was like, I don't know, man. I pulled up there with, honestly, it was a 6-month plan. I paid 6 months right up front.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need to get the fuck away for 6 months and like recharge my batteries, and then I'll get back to the States and get back on this, like I was DJing in the States. I'm doing like $250 gigs,
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's like fucking cannibalizing each other to get these gigs. Like I would only give my slow gigs up to DJ Donk from like DMS, and to DJ Soul, and maybe a couple other cats. Like I was very protective of my gigs because I know motherfuckers gonna come in and be like, oh, I'll do this shit for $150. I'll do it for $100, which is the case in damn near every market. So I was tired of that. I was just tired of everything. So I just said, like, I moved and I basically wanted to be there for 6 months and recharge and then like go back to the States and just like, okay, now I'm good. Like I need to get away and I'll go back to grinding and, hustling like we do in the States. And then I just ended up staying, man. I got a job at one hotel and I got a job at Catch Restaurant, like the same Catch that's in LA and New York.
Yeah. That's a good look. That's a big restaurant. Yeah.
Exactly. So out there, it's just kind of a thing. Like it's just a really nice restaurant, like on top of a hotel.
So you started becoming like the it guy in Mexico, right? A little bit,
kind of, sort of, man. I was like the only guy that didn't play tech house or like deep house or soulful house.
Oh, so that's all that was out there, pretty much.
All that was out there. Like when I played like Duke Dumont and like some shit like that, they're like, oh, you just play pop. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of like indie house for me, but they're like, no, it's like pop, dude. Like we play like, it's like techno, very international scene. So yeah, man, I was out there just kind of doing my thing. And then, just everything kind of just grew from there. So I do day, night, day. It's like is like five shifts back to back to back to back. Be like 95 degrees and 95% humidity.
Wow.
They didn't get paid shit, yo. Like Mexico does not pay any money. Like don't go to Mexico expecting to get paid.
So you were getting decent money, or you were getting pretty low?
Not even decent, bro. Like embarrassingly low. but out there it went a long way. So like if you live like a local, your money goes a long way in Mexico. But if you do bougie shit, your money, it's just like being here in Vegas on the strip.
Yeah.
Like it's you can get, and out there is cool because I didn't have a car or anything, so I just walked around everywhere. Like rode a bike, get groceries, or rode my bike. Like haircuts are $3. Like as long as you find the right spots, like you could live a great life out there for very, very cheap. Long story short, I ended up doing their New Year's party, which like where Mark and Eugene, you know, Mark Birnbaum and Eugene and all those guys.
Yeah.
So they came out for New Year's and threw a big bash in Playa Del Carmen. They brought all their friends out.
So Mark and Eugene they're the original owners of 10 June in New York, which was a huge club in the 2000s.
Okay.
2010s, and then they opened Catch Restaurant. And then that blew up, yeah. And then but 10 June closed, but Catch kept going and it kept killing it. At one point, 10 June, Mark and Eugene were kind of in battle with Noah and Jason, which is Tao Group in New York.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because 10 June was just killing it. Like they were really murdering it. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, but they're in charge of Catch. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, super, super cool people. And they came through and we had like Jason Derulo for New Year's, and I DJ'd that party, and usually like the resident DJ there just like play deep house, whatever. The year before me, they had like Nas and Aoki. So it was like crazy. And the resident there was kind of like deep house guy. So it's like, whatever, like they're just vibing. And it's cool. Like I like the house music thing, but it was a little bit different because you have a lot of Americans there. So I just played like a US, like, oh my God, it's like a club. I'm like, I'm just playing a club set. And then the guy that ran that for Mark and Eugene ended up being the marketing director for Hakkasan in Mexico. So when they opened Omnia, so somehow or another, from me going to get a root canal, I ended up working at Catch. And from that, I ended up getting hired by Hakkasan Mexico. So I ran Omnia, and I did all their sound for, I was a resident DJ at Omnia, technical director. And then at first they had me like trying to book bands and shit and do everything for all 4 of our properties at Vidanta, that hotel that you went to.
At Omnia Cabo, right? They were having bands and shit. They had bands
in like the restaurants. So they have like Salsa Night. Like, yo, we need you to find this. And I'm like, yo, like they gave me like 7 days. So like they wanted me. Didn't hear from them forever. And they're like, yo, we need you here on Thursday. I'm like, I live across the fucking country. It's like a 5-hour flight from Cancun to Cabo. And like, just figure it out. I'm like, oh shit, all right. So imagine going from like Florida to California. So that's about.
And so you ended up moving over there for the opportunity and shit. But I kind of want to go back to like when you were saying you would play an American set and everyone was playing like soulful house and deep house and stuff.
Yeah.
Were you playing like a mix of hip hop and everything and pop music? And
yeah, so I just played like a very open format, like hip hop, pop, some EDM stuff, like some Major Lazer stuff. Nobody played reggaeton at that time. So like this is 16 to 18. Like it was very frowned upon because there's a lot of South Americans, a ton of Argentinians, like a bunch of different, a very, very international crowd.
Right.
And like they thought you were trash if you played reggaeton.
Yeah.
It was like if you played hip hop in 2008. Like, oh, we don't want hip hop in our club. Like nobody wanted reggaeton. Yeah. So that's
an important factor. That was only 5 years ago. 2016 to 2018, everyone really acts like reggaeton was always around and it was widely accepted. Like you go to Miami, I would go to Miami like 10, 15 years ago. They're like, yo, no reggaeton. Yeah. It would be like Cuban people like, why are you playing this trash? You know, like
it's crazy, right?
Locals like Latinos were like, why are you playing reggaeton? Like this shit is trash. You know, like don't play this shit. And I'd be like, oh shit. It's kind of like when I would go to like the Bay for gigs in the 2000s, they'd be like, no hyphy.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, how do you what do you even do?
Yeah. I would go there and they'd be like, yo, no hyphy. Like, don't play any of that hyphy shit. I'd be in San Jose and everyone be like requesting hyphy. And then
of course,
the owners are like, yo, don't play that shit. Don't play. Like, if you play that shit, you'll never get booked here again. Yeah. And I'm just like, I was like, okay, Party Rock is in the house tonight.
All that EDM shit for y'all for this tonight.
I know, right? That's just the worst, man. I hate that. Like, I dealt with that. Like, Slow is like a very, very whitewashed community. It's like all white people, like some Mexicans, some Filipinos, and like 8 black people. And like that's like San Luis Obispo. It's like a fucking beach town. I always like, oh man, like it's like let's keep it more up tempo tonight. Like like a little bit more up tempo. Like.
Right.
Maybe not so much hip hop.
It's funny because like if a younger generation DJ ever went through that now, it would get blasted on Twitter like crazy, right? But we just had to deal with it for the last 20 plus years. Like never, you've been dealing with that forever. Like when you were DJing.
Oh, definitely.
I can't imagine for you, yeah.
But
like, oh man,
Yeah.
even in New York though, like even in New York, it was that issue. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's just
crazy.
one of those things. I want to go back to the DJs though, like these resident DJs in Cancun, hearing you play pop music and everything, and were they kind of like hating on you, or were they like, oh shit, we got to start playing some of this shit too? Were they like learning from it?
No, I was the only guy not doing that. So it was like in Cancun at like some of the big clubs, they do like EDM, reggaeton, and like some hip hop. But generally, like anywhere where anybody I talked to, anybody like I hung out with, it's like everything was beach club, day party, whatever, nightclub. It's like house, like straight out of Europe. And then so I played like a lot of soulful house and like some funky house and stuff. Like I had to adapt to that, which is great for me because I never played like house music before. So it was cool for me because like I had to learn something new. So it was very challenging. I don't just want to play like the punchy all day, but like I need to find something with some cool vocals or something that relates to me. It helped me a lot as far as just like building a more diverse sound. But so nobody gave a fuck about me though. Like I had a cool job, but there's so many DJs out there. Like imagine Vegas times 5, and that's how many DJs are in Playa del Carmen, Cancun. Because every restaurant has a DJ. They pay you 400 or 500 pesos to play for like 5 hours, like $25.
Yeah, that's nothing, bro.
Dude,
that's nothing.
And people were dying to get the work. Like I got paid significantly more than that, but still not a lot. I was like, yo, man, if I could get to like 150 a night, I'll be golden.
Oh my
but
God.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because
like that. It was like that.
At that time, the dollar for the ratio from $1 to a peso was about, I want to say 16 pesos per dollar.
Yeah.
So just times that to get to 500. So whatever that was.
It wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. So I was like, I kind of, luckily I had money. So I was like, I had money from selling my house and stuff. So I was like, I'm chilling. But so my money was basically just to fuck around with because I didn't think I was be there that long. I'm like, all right, let's go fuck around with this for a year or whatever. Cool.
You can't stack paper with that kind of rate. You could just kind of live, right? You could just kind of
I was just like I couldn't have lived the way I lived out there on that, basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't even live that nice. Like if you look at my stories when I go to Mexico, I'm like, yo, I'm in the hood. I'm eating fucking authentic food. Like I don't go down to the beach restaurants because that shit's like, nope. It's all my money. Like I could go eat lunch, have a cocktail, and be at like maybe $10 at all the spots like that.
How hood is the hood in like Cancun? Is it like pretty? Like how hood is the hood? Like
Cancun,
what is a Cancun
pretty
hood?
gutter, bro.
Yeah.
Well, in Playa del Carmen, that shit was fucking. It was hood. Like it's. Like a lot of my friends from the hotels that work security, like they lived in the places that were like $80 a month to live. They call it Villas del Sol. There's like way on the outskirts. Like
damn,
a lot of people, drug dealers. A lot of people fucking die out there, and you never hear about it. But it was cool. Like one house would have like the garage was like a supermarket, or like a little like an Oxxo, like a 7-Eleven, and then one house is like the taqueria. And like in these little condos out there. So it was cool. Like we went to all the birthday parties. In Mexico, man, everybody treats you like your family. Like you treat people well, they take you in, like they will help you move, that you get invited to everything. And just the nicest fucking people you'll like. I've never been treated so well by people that were just complete strangers in my life.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope,
crazy,
man.
And then in December, every day it's a party.
Dude.
They're having a nonstop party all December.
Always,
like,
man.
They have like fucking like every hood has like they get like a little carnival going. So it stops in every neighborhood throughout the whole month of December, and then the 31st is the big deal.
Wait, why for the whole month? Is it
It's just a celebration thing that they do.
And then why in December? Because it's the
Christmas,
holiday season.
Christmas holidays. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they have all the posadas, like all the holiday parties you go to. And it's fun, man. Mexico, like Playa del Carmen was like one of the best moments of best times of my life. It was so cool. Like it was dope, man.
So how different is that to being in Cabo? And
so Cabo's alright. Like Cabo, I didn't have a car in Playa del Carmen, bro. Like I had a bike, I had a beach cruiser.
Yeah.
And then I'd take like the colectivo, like the combi, which is like the little van where everybody fits on.
Yeah.
Like you just hop on the van on the side of the road and it costs you like 20 pesos, 30 pesos.
It's like a gypsy cab in New York. Yeah, pretty much. Right?
Okay, yeah. And it fit fucking be 30 people in that bitch. Like one guy bring his fucking fresh fish in there, it stink. Like you get off that one and you get on another one. Like it was cool. Like I love that life. It was so dope. It was so stress free.
It sounds like it. Wow.
Yeah. Food was amazing because there's such an international hub where it's like there's a ton of Argentinians, Italians, Israelis, and Russians, and then Americans, and obviously like Mexicans. From all the Mexicans were from different states because 20 years ago Playa del Carmen was a city of like 5,000 people. Now it's like 300,000. So it was dope, man. Just ate good food every day, super cheap, and good people, man. Fast forward from Playa del Carmen to Cabo. Like I love Cabo, but I had to work there. So I moved from Playa del Carmen to Cabo in February of 2018, I guess it is. The second I hit the ground, it's like, okay, work. And then we opened at 11 and our doors shut at sunset. So I was the only DJ there they had. It was like, you're the resident, so you work. So I worked, I get there at 10, set up all the riders for all the artists. If we had an artist that day, or if I had to DJ all day, I'd DJ for 8 hours.
That's like 10 a.m. in the morning. You're
yeah. 10 a.m., get home at 8 p.m. because I have to clean up everything. Mm-hmm. And then every artist has a different rider. So it's like, some of that shit's stupid, man.
Oh, so you were taking care of all the artists too? Like as well?
I had to do all the technical. So I did all the tech. They worked the piss out of me, And then, so I was trying to find DJs to help that could come DJ. It's all clean music. These guys don't know the difference between clean or not clean. And then everybody just rips music off YouTube out there because nobody makes any money. So I was like, oh my God. I ended up giving like 3 guys USB sticks. I'm like, okay, here's all the hip hop you need. Listen to it. Figure out what you want to play. I don't give a fuck. Like, figure it out. Because I literally worked every single day for like the first 33 days. So
you're like the music director, entertainment director kind of over there a little bit, right?
Pretty much. So I didn't do any bookings at that time, but I had to do everything else. So it was crazy.
Was you getting paid to do this extra work, or was this just part of DJing at the venue?
Yeah. So I was on salary basically.
You was a company man. Pretty much, right?
Dude, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
pretty much. All of us.
You were a DJ, but you're a company man. You went to Cabo and became a company man, right? Okay.
That's why they like me, man. It was crazy. So
it's a good thing to learn. It's actually a good thing for DJs to learn how to be company men and not just be an artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like to work with the club, to understand what the club needs. To kind of go outside of what your realm of being, I'm a DJ, I do this and this is what I do, and kind of like being more available for the club. And so when a nightclub does expand or when a venue does grow and they open other venues, they look to this one person. They're like, this guy kind of helped us from the ground up. We should have him involved in the second venue and the third venue. And this is a guy who's easy to work with, rather than be like, this guy is just like a DJ superstar. He thinks so. We're just gonna treat him like a booking. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing to go through. I think it's important that what you've been going through. But you were dealing with a lot of EDM artists, so I can't even imagine what their riders were like. Like it must have been crazy, man. Like these EDM dudes.
Ridiculous. So like technically it was usually pretty similar, but certain guys wanted different stuff. But
like what was out of the ordinary that they were asked for?
4 CDJs, and then they wanted it all linked, whatever. And then so these guys show up. They got one guy with fucking waving a flag around like a douchebag. One guy's DJing on 2 decks on the right side. Oh, I was only allowed to play on deck 1 and 2 as well. And this is like my 5th gig there. So I'm like, oh shit, like I better only do this, I'm playing on deck 1 and 2, fucking up because I usually play 2-3 or like use a crossfader and everything like that, And then so I'm like doing all that. These guys show up, get on, whatever. Hey, what's up? We're so and so. Fucking, we love the energy out here. Then we sold like 200 tickets. I'm like, man, y'all suck. These guys show up. One guy's playing on deck 3 and 4 on USB sticks. None of them have a laptop with Serato. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy's sitting there twisting knobs on channel 1 and 2, not doing anything at all. Not doing anything.
Right.
Like when I got back on, the knobs were all fucked up. I'm like, what did you do to the CDJ? I'm like, and just this stuff like that would constantly happen. Like we had one guy, he was like on like the 3rd day of a bender. He's like,
oh shit,
hey, I need some fucking cocaine. I need some cocaine. I can't do a German accent. He's like, what the fuck? We're in Mexico. I can't even get any coke. I'm like, I'm not getting fired for you to go do coke. Like,
so you didn't get him cocaine?
He was on a bad one, yo. He was on a bad one. Like, he was not looking so hot. Like, yeah, it was crazy, man. Just shit like that all the time, man.
That's
like,
weird because I have a drop that goes cocaine.
Yeah. That's it.
And then all of these people in Cabo just came to me and started giving me coke and stuff like that. So he should have my drop.
They just hand you little packs of cocaine.
Little bags, yeah.
They're just like, hey, club, did you call? You just called me, right? I'm like, no. It's just
cocaine. Here comes 3 little Mexicans. We serve to you.
Straight off the beach, man.
That didn't happen. I'm just fucking around.
So it's a little bit like of a culture shock because you live in Playa del Carmen and you're like living it up, modest life, stress free. And then you just get dropped at Cabo, Omnia, and then it's just stress every fucking day for 32 days straight.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And then I was just trying to find DJs to help me. So I'm like, I need a DJ for like a Monday and a Tuesday. I'm like, I just need somebody to be able to play music. And then like I'd find somebody, I'd listen to them, and they'd be like, nah, man, no. I'm like, look, it's Monday. Like, I just need a break. And luckily, like,
you mean the owners? Wait. So the owners would be like, we don't like that DJ kind of thing.
Not like management, all the employees, like. So it was crazy because, and then on top of that, like, opening a club means everybody is there. So we had like the executive vice president of Hakkasan Group was there for like the first 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Executive director of marketing, John Opus was there for the first month. Orlando Akendo was like the executive director of ops. Like everybody, like on top of you, which is good. Like I don't care. I'm like, it was great for me because they loved me because I'm like, like okay, you're doing exactly what we want. And like any shitty EDM shows, we went so long. It's like 11 to 7, 11 to 7:30. We'd still kind of like hit our budget because the day would still be good. So they just like that I can kind of like play everything and play to whatever crowd came to the club.
Yeah.
So like. I got really lucky, and it's funny, like when you said like, oh, it's good to be like a company man. Like I think that's a big reason why I got the opportunity here in Vegas. It's just because I'm easy to work with. Like I don't really have an ego. Like I don't care. I'm like, you take the glory. Like my job is to be here and like to set things up for you, and basically to not fuck things up and make sure people have a good time. Yeah. So it was a blessing in disguise, but it was just a lot of work, and it was definitely a culture shock coming from. Play some music on the weekend and chill at the beach 4 days a week to like okay, I'm grinding right now. Like this is like an actual grind.
It must have been educational too, though, just to hear all of these kind of big DJs and like hear how they play and what songs they play and kind of watch them, right?
Big time. It was like in the master's degree because I was in meetings, so I kind of took it upon myself to be a part of every group chat I can get into.
Yeah.
As far as discussing this and that, like marketing, everything, and I talked to everybody, and then I was in every group chat I can get into. I was in every meeting I could get into, just because I'm like, okay, eventually I want to take this to a different level and try to make it. I'm not going to DJ till I'm like 60, So if I want to stay in this business, this is the one opportunity I have to be by. Like I get to talk to the CEO basically. Like I get to be in touch. Like I get to be in direct contact with these people that are very, very hard to get time with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of took it upon myself to like, okay, I'm going to learn as much as I can about this business, about all the bookings, about how we have to do, even just getting visas, like all that process. Like I eventually made my way into all these group chats, all these group emails, and got into the booking conversation after like a year and a half. And just like you said, you know, it's free education, it's free game, and it was work. So it was like, I'm like, whatever. Like I always worked, so I'm like, I'll just work more. Like now I'm working doing DJing instead of digging holes and fucking pouring concrete. You know.
So you were in Cabo doing all of this work for like 2 years straight, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So I was there 5 days a week for like the first year, and then we redid my deal after the first year to just doing weekends, and then after that. I did all of March because March we booked big name DJs, and like to go back to your thing, it's like, yeah, you hear all these DJs, and I heard what worked, what didn't work.
Right. I
see the reactions. Nobody scratched. Nobody ever fucking scratched a song in. Nobody did anything. It was just like certain things you could see work, and so I just like I took a lot from a lot of people. Like I bought like, you know, I'm like, okay, this I like this, but I'm gonna put my spin on it. Or like I listened to you play, and like you crushed. You played like some sets where you're like 4 Ja Rule songs in a row. I'm like, oh shit, that shit's dope. Like, you know, like you did like certain like little mini sets. Like, because hey, no, A.R.O.D. So our director of ops is like, yo, DJ Crooked's coming, flight. Make sure you got fucking brand new batteries in that mic, because he's on the mic all day. He's the fucking best, dude. He's the best guy we got. He's like, he's gonna be the best DJ to come through. I'm like, all right, dope.
Yeah, he's so kind of like a lifer, right? He was at Omnia Hakkasan, and then he may have
I think he worked at Jet.
Jet, right?
He did Jet, I believe so. Yeah, he definitely worked with Light Group.
Yeah, I mean he's like a nightlife lifer. He's been in the business a long fucking time, like from the ground up, right? To the point where he's managing Omnia Cabo, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, he went from GM to director of ops to marketing director to everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Like ran all the restaurants. Like you'll never find a harder worker than A.R.O.D.
Yeah.
And then he was my manager for a day. We went on a trip to Guadalajara. We like.
Oh no, that's dangerous, bro. Jesus Christ.
I got booked by these guys. They're like, hey, we want you to play at our club. Like we want you to play on tomorrow though. I'm like, tomorrow? I'm like, I gotta play Omnia. They're like, no, just come after. You know, your set doesn't start till 1 a.m. They're like, you play from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
What?
I'm like, well, I gotta work on Sunday morning. I gotta work Sunday day. And A.R.O.D's like, flight, I'm coming with you. Fuck that. Like, tell him I'm gonna manage you to this trip. He's like, how much money are they gonna pay you? I'm like, they're paying me a fucking lot. He's like, we're going. I'm like, all right, cool. And then so like me and A.R.O.D, like we booked the flight. We get done at Omnia. We left a little bit early. Caught a 7 p.m. flight to Guadalajara. And A.R.O.D's like, hey, who booked you again? I'm like, this guy. He's like, oh, he was like cursing me out the other day at Omnia because we had a service charge. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, no, I'm fucking serious. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, we charge him a service charge. And he's all pissed off. And he's like, yo, he was like trying to fight me. I'm like, oh man, all right, whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. Like, we get to Guadalajara. We went to like this club called Strana, which has like the Omnia, you know, the Omnia, whatever that chandelier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had that, but instead of it being like hydraulically controlled, it's on like fucking chains. Like, I don't know if they got little cats like Strana going like, I shit you not, you know, like they did the same thing at midnight where they stop the music and do the dun 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 dun, dun and like intro it. It was wild. I'm like, damn, yo, we're out here, like we're doing this shit. And then so we get to this club in Guadalajara, and they're like, yo, man, like just do your thing, whatever, you know. It's like I started like playing. They were playing like deep house. I'm like, all right, so I started playing house. He's like, no, we want you to do like your Omnia thing, like do your thing. So like, all right, so like I started playing some reggaeton. The guy's like, no, play Ozuna. Like, people like Ozuna. I'm like, oh shit, okay, like it's gonna be like this. Dude's on my shoulder. Like A.R.O.D's like, yeah, that's the fucking guy. I'm like, oh shit, all right, man, like whatever. Like we're just DJing, getting super fucked up. I'm like, dude, this guy's telling me every song to play. I'm like, fuck this. Like I'm getting paid, whatever. So we're just drinking. At like 4 a.m., I'm looking for A.R.O.D. I'm like, yo. I'm like, where the fuck is A.R.O.D.? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, where's my guy? I'm like, ¿Dónde es A.R.O.D.? I'm like trying to talk and DJ. I'm like looking for him in a panic. And they're like, no, he's good. I'm like, fucking show me where he is, as I was gonna stop the music. They're like, no, look, he's over there. A.R.O.D's sleeping on a fucking couch in the club. Motherfuckers always sleep in the club, man. Yeah, so A.R.O.D's asleep on a couch. We get out of the club at like 5:30. We had a 7 a.m. flight to make it back to Cabo. I get A.R.O.D. Like we get out of the cab, A.R.O.D's a fucking corpse. Like I put him on my shoulder like a knocked out boxer. Yeah. We walked through security. Like, is he okay? Is he okay? I'm like, see. I'm like, wow, I start speaking English. I'm like, he's good. Don't worry. He's with me. He's good. And we got in the fight, man. The next day, A.R.O.D. like, I call him up at like 10 a.m. I'm like, A.R.O.D., where you at? No answer. Oh man. So I run to A.R.O.D.'s house. I climb his window. I start banging on his fucking window. This dude don't answer. I'm like, A.R.O.D., dude, you're gonna get fired. Like, fuck. So like I showed him work. Like, yo, where's A.R.O.D.? I'm like, he's just taking a nap. Yo, he'll be here in a little bit.
Yeah.
A.R.O.D. pulls up at like 1 p.m. Just shows up like nothing happened. Hey, what's up, guys? It was big ass little A.R.O.D. smile. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he has that $1 million smile, right?
He does, dude. He does. The best personality.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that guy. Yeah, so that's A.R.O.D., dude. That's A.R.O.D. in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
Damn, man. So y'all were working together out there, and you would have been still working out there if the pandemic didn't hit, pretty much, and everything got shut down, right?
Yeah. So after the first year, they paid me more to work 3 days instead of like 6. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was just working 1 because my kids ended up moving back to the States. So I was like flying back and forth every week. So I was like just working 1 or 2 days a week. I'd do like Saturday, Sunday. Those are kind of our crucial days or whatever. Because by then I'd found really good local DJs. I have a guy, Saul Sauchi's fucking dope, dude. Like he's one of the best DJs in Mexico. He started as a buster, and then like I let him play songs on Mondays. And then eventually he just proved himself to be like the guy. And now he's the resident there. But yeah, man. So 2020, I was out there for March, and spring break was crazy. It started off great. We had like a Tiesto for our 3rd anniversary, which is like our biggest show we've ever had. On March 14th, Dioro kind of like canceled on the last second because of the pandemic, like nobody blamed him, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we still crushed it. Like they paid me my little bit of money, and we sold like, the Dioro amount of money. Little John was supposed to play. He's like, nah, I can't make it out there. Like I can't, it's just about like, it wasn't the right time for anybody to be DJing.
Right.
So and that was like a big college day. And then all the college parties stopped that day. And I went back to the United States, and like that year. So for 2020, like I had like a deal where I was going to play Vegas Hakkasan group venues. I had like 4 a month. So I was like, dope. Like I'm going to start like this. I finally paid off. I was like, this is sick. Like it paid off finally, like all this work we put in, and then just fucking everything is gone.
So for the past year, you were in the States just kind of wondering like what's going to happen, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. I was like, I'm done DJing. Like this is dumb. Like I put so much into it, lost a lot, I lost a lot of money just like trying to chase this DJ thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's just not meant to be. Like during the pandemic, I was driving back and forth to my hometown to just work construction again. I'm like, damn, like should have just done this the whole time. At least I had some money saved up still.
And then you got the call from Zook Group, right?
Then I got the call, man. Yeah, then I got the call. Yeah, so
knock on wood.
Crazy, bro. Like
wait, so when did you get the call? When did you get the call?
Richard Candido from Hakkasan Group. He's like one of the lead promoters. He does the Deseo Sundays and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, I need you to do.
He used to be at Tao, I believe. Yeah.
Did he? Okay, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think like everybody's been everywhere in the city, right?
They just kind of they just rotate everywhere, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like, man.
He's a definite OG though. He's an OG in the game for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's never reached out to me for anything like directly. He's like, hey, I need you to do me a big favor, and I need you to DJ this wedding for this guy. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm like, he's like, just take care of it for me. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'll figure something out for you. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I talked to this guy. His name is Michael Waltman. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm like, Richard asked me, like, Richard reached out to me. I'm like, just let me know what you need for your wedding, and I'll take care of you. You're good. And then I'm like, just pay for the rentals and my flight and my stay, and I got you. He's like, okay, cool. He hits me up like a month or 2 later, and I guess they're like starting to search for like resident DJs. He's like, do you want to DJ in Vegas? I'm like, well, I think everybody does. He's like, all right, like I can't guarantee you anything. It's not my department, but I'll make sure your EPK gets seen. So I sent my EPK over to Zook, and they're like, oh, you've been a part of an opening. IU is like Tulum vibes. Like they want like Tulum vibes there. I happened to DJ at Catch in Playa Del Carmen, and I DJ in Tulum for years, a couple years, And then I had like the Vegas experience, and fucking they called me up in like the beginning of January and like, hey, we want to have a conversation with you. I'm like, okay, cool. Like figured I'd have to try to sell myself or whatever. And then it's like, hey, we want to bring you on. Like you're going to be our first resident we bring on.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, really? Like, why me? Like, you sure you got the right guy?
That's a good start for 2021 though, isn't it? Like
crazy,
right in January. And after after everything pretty much shut down in March 2020, you know, you're basically like wondering what the fuck's gonna be going on for like 8 to 9 months. You're like,
dude.
And then probably by the end of 2020, you're like, you know, this DJ shit is done. You get a call, you're like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Like it, you know, it probably won't even pan out. And then in January, they're just like, yo, yeah, we want you to come through and stuff. Yeah. Because I remember, I think you DM'd me or you texted me. You're like, yo, man, I forget what month it was, but it was early. It was the top of the month. I think you DM'd me like, yo, man, I think I'm moving to Vegas, man. I think I'm moving to Vegas. And he didn't tell me he was signing with anybody. So in my head, I'm like, you know, so a lot of motherfuckers tell me they're going to move to Vegas. You know, they get excited. And I'm like, I'm like, you better have something lined up, right? I think I said that. And you're like, no, I got something lined up. And I'm like, okay, good. Because I'm like,
why would you get Vegas?
No, already Kirk is like, oh, red flag.
No.
Because
save your money.
No, because like there's like so many dudes who move out to Vegas and they think like, you know, I have money saved up. I'm gonna move out there and you know, I could probably take care of 6 months rent, you know, and they end up, some of them stayed out here for a year and never got any residencies, yo. They just never, they went out every weekend. They made a presence. They tried to talk to people and sometimes it just didn't work for some fucking reason. Bro. You know what I mean?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
So like when motherfuckers tell me they come and like move into Vegas, I'm always like, do you have something like solid? Like, because a lot of dudes don't want to bring you in unless you're like co-signed with somebody or you have an in with somebody, you know, pretty much.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but that's good. You came. Yeah, so when you hit me, I was like, all right, this motherfucker's gonna come in. Let's link up. And then, and then when you announce that you're gonna be at Zook Group and you're gonna be at Resorts World, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I'm sure you had a lot of DJs hitting you up like, yo, what up, man? What's good?
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like when people found out I was booking for days I was gone, because essentially I just paid. I'm like, look, I get paid X amount of dollars. If you want to fill in for me, I'll get you a flyer. I'll just give you every dollar I make, and then you know I'm supposed to make, and you could take the spot because I wasn't going to go through the hassle of getting people work visas. I'm like, but you can come in and spin. So I took care of like my day ones, like Audio One came there a few times. Mm-hmm. DJ Soul came there a few times. Shadow Man, a lot of San Diego cats came through. I think Dynamic came through. Just a bunch of cool people. Like I'm like, look, if I know you and I know you're good, like you're kind of wearing my name. Like this is my baby. So like I know you'll do a good job. I booked you, and it was cool with everybody locally. So we did that. But yeah. So when I dropped the Vegas thing, honestly, like I was like, oh man, motherfuckers would be like, oh, why? Who the fuck are you? Like, why'd you get this shit? But honestly, it was all love. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I've done a lot of good for the community as much as I can. Like everything in my power, I've always tried to help everybody out. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that kind of came full circle. Like we'll see if it's like that in a month or two from now.
Yeah. It was dope to see. You know, like everyone knows you put in the work. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, after this past year. Like, you can't really hate on anybody, any DJ for, like, finding work. Like, you really can't hate on anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's even DJs that I don't necessarily love, but, like, I'm happy they're working. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to not work and take care of themselves. So, but, yeah, I mean, when you announced that, I thought that was dope. And I was like, yeah, man, I think it's a dope look. But I know it's a lot of work, man. Like, when you have to be the resident of a new club opening, I mean, what you went through with Omnia, Cabo, like, you know, I've been through a couple of, like, I've been the resident at a few clubs, club openings, and it's fucking chaotic, especially mega clubs. Like, Neva's been through a ton of them. And it's
man, it's the worst feeling, man. I hate opening new venues, man.
Yeah, because it's like everyone's temperamental. The GMs are temperamental. The entertainment directors are temperamental. Marketing's temperamental. The owners are temperamental. Everyone's trying to figure out what's the problem, they don't even focus on what's good. They're just like, what's bad, everything, this is bad, we got to change this. And you're just kind of like, you're going through the motions, and like they're changing this, they're changing that. Every night we're changing this, we're changing that. So when I heard that you're going to be the resident there, I was just like, man, that's a lot of work, because I already know it's a new, not only is it a new hotel, a new mega hotel, right? With like insane, like 35,000 rooms or some shit. I don't even know.
3,500 rooms in the first wing.
3,500 rooms in the first wing.
And it's going to expand. It's going to expand a lot too.
It's fucking crazy. And then it's a mega hotel, and then and it's a mega, like huge, like day pool venue, right? From what I heard.
Yeah.
And I heard they were still like, even at their opening day, they were still like finishing construction on that shit.
Dude. So check this. So I had to do my first gig was supposed to be 24th grand opening. Yeah. But they made me do a employee welcome the 23rd, where I had to introduce the chairman of Genting Group. I had to introduce Scott Sabella, the CEO of Resorts World. And I'm up there like, we want you to play all of our residents. So I had to play Celine Dion, Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, Carrie Underwood,
Miley Cyrus, right? I think.
And all that shit. So I'm like doing the thing, and they gave me 4 talking points, and they wanted me to say like, "Welcome to Fabulous Resorts World." I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one, but I'm like, and then they're like, there's like 800 people each thing. The first thing I played or whatever, there was like 2,000 people rolled up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's our CEO, Scott Sabella. Like, I'm like, oh man, this is fucking crazy. Yeah. And like, that was my welcome to it, where just everybody, like however many eyes I thought were on me in Cabo, it was the CEOs of Resorts World, like from Asia, CEO of Zoot Group, like all these guys from Singapore, everybody, like everybody's been there every single day. I've played a song. So it's been like pretty pressure packed, like pretty scrutinized, and it was crazy. So that was the first day. That was my first gig there. And then the second day was grand opening, which like the 23rd, it was a whole construction team in there, like finishing bars. I
was actually at the hotel on the 23rd. There was like tape still on the floor. They were still, boards are still up. That was supposed to, the club or the
crazy.
Spot was supposed to open up the next day. It was still working on it that night.
I was like, there's no way they can get this ready. Like I come from a construction background. I'm like, there's absolutely no chance. And they had it ready. Like
that's how Vegas works.
Crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So grand opening was June 24th, and that was just at the resort pool. It was me, and then Celine Dion's son played a set. Then it was Paris Hilton. Then it was Tiesto. We opened doors at 8. At 7:55, Paris came up to do sound check, and she's like, her manager comes up. She's like, "Where's our tractor?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Where's our tractor?" She's like, "I brought this up here, and like, you guys didn't set it up." I'm like, "Look, I'm just a DJ. Like, I'm not a tech guy. Like, She's like, "No, you guys were supposed to set this up and this and that." She's like, "Why did I bring this up?" Paris is up there, just like standing right behind her, like kind of stressing out. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh shit, we opened doors in 5 minutes." She had a Control S4 thing or whatever, like a little controller. And this, mind you, Tiesto's road manager is very, very particular. Like Tiesto's shit has to be dead on exactly how they want it. Cables were cherry, like everything looked beautiful. And then all of a sudden we had to set up Paris's thing. Like they're freaking out. Oh my God. I'm like, all right, look, show me where all your stuff is. I'm like, okay, cool. Like whatever. So they gave me this thing. It's like in a suitcase, like her Control S4. For her 30-minute set, we had to set this thing up.
Was it a regular suitcase or was it like bedazzled?
Like a regular suitcase, like a broke suitcase.
I was thinking the same thing, but bedazzled suitcase in pink.
Something that like Barbie would have had, like some
Barbie exactly.
Nah, she was dressed up like Barbie, but she had like some like Samsonite suitcase with her Control S4 in.
Nice.
And our cables were over here. I'm like, oh shit! Like we had everything set up. All the sound guys were downstairs. I'm like, look at. And like, luckily we had like one sound guy there. I'm like, look, we need to set this up now. I'm like, we have to run it through channel 4 or whatever. And she's just gonna have to throw it up there and we're just not going to tell her and just let her play. I don't think she's going to care. We're going to just make it sound good. So like, okay, cool. All of a sudden starts pouring fucking rain right at 8 o'clock.
It never rains in Vegas. It like literally never rains in Vegas.
Yeah.
at the end of June,
especially in the summertime, it never rains in Vegas.
I was like, yo, this shit cannot go any worse. Like, I couldn't believe it. Pouring rain. I'm like, oh fuck. I got this lady yelling at me, Paris Hilton standing right behind her. All of a sudden they run in like under a cabana. I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like, I'm like, look you need to get one of the tech guys up here now. And then the talent guy is like holding a tarp over my head. I'm like trying to hook up this fucking S4 thing. And then it like stops raining at 8:20. And the rain honestly saved our ass because like we got it set up and like we kind of teched it. Hear a little sound check real quick at like 8:20. And then it's like, okay, cool. Walked downstairs. And then I played till Celine Dion's son played. And then Paris came up like a few minutes late and played like a 15-minute set. And what's up, Las Vegas? I'm like, yeah, it was cool. It was crazy. It's Paris Hilton. Like for me, you know, like, we're old cats. Like she actually was like kind of famous. Like, no, I don't care about like the young kids. It's like kind of cool. It's like, okay, it's Paris Hilton. So it was cool. Like she did her thing. She DJ'd, and then from there on, the night went good. Like I was supposed to be done at 12. It went till 2. Like everybody was it was cool. It was like it was a good look because literally every single person was there.
So to get through a night like that. Because Never would have been stressing the fuck out. Never would have been. Never
would have walked out at least 3 times.
Yeah. Never. You would have walked out. You would have walked out for sure.
I would have wanted to walk out. I don't know if I would have walked out though.
Oh man.
It'll be so like to really get through that. You kind of gotta like not give a fuck, right? You kind of like You kind of just gotta do your job and like not give a fuck about. Like too much. You just kind of got to like solve the problems a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. It's like, well, I was stressed as fuck like all day because I did sound check the night before. Like the day before, I got there at like 11 and got home at like 11. This is doing sound check with Tiesto's team, doing all my gigs I had to do that day.
Yeah,
I had like these 2 welcome parties, which were stressful because I don't really like. I'm good talking on the mic. Like I'm good on the mic and everything. Like I'm not good. Like I'm fine on the mic, you know. Like introducing people where it's just awkward. I'm like, oh shit, like this is fucking weird. Like stone sober, like give me a couple drinks, I'm good. And I was like stone sober, got the whole hotel staff looking at me. I'm like, all right, like this is very important. And then 24th was the most important day of my life, probably. Like I'll probably never have a bigger day than that, as long as I live. Like open a fucking casino, you know. And my face is on the side of the wall. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this shit's weird, yo.
Wow.
But like honestly, the rain was the best thing that happened to me. Like it started pouring rain. I got yelled at by fucking Paris Hilton's team. Like they had cameras all in there because she does some reality show.
Yeah.
Like I was like, fuck. Like you said, like who gives a fuck? Hey, fuck it, you're here. Just do your fucking job. So like, I just played music. I kind of had an idea what I was gonna play, so I was like, just kept it happy, kept it familiar, like good vibes. And, took like 3 shots of tequila in between. I was like, oh, fucking feeling better now. Now it's just chilling. At one point, I walked by Kendall Jenner and Usher. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and then Steve Aoki's in the fucking middle of the crowd, just like dancing because he has like a restaurant there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
It's one of those situations when shit like that happens, you can't get too self-involved and you can't care too much about your feelings or how people are talking to you or all this. You kind of gotta like. You gotta leave it at the door. You kind of gotta like not give a fuck, but like solve the problems. And then you also like, because you know sometimes you have expectations like, oh man, you know, like I want it to go this way. It should go perfect. I want my set to be perfect. You just kind of gotta like not give a fuck and be like, you know what, like there's gonna be fuck it. Like there's gonna be certain mistakes and stuff that happen, but I'm just gonna solve them as they go, and then it's probably not gonna be as bad as like I think it is compared to how like the audience views it, because I'm literally seeing all the behind the scenes shit, and they're not really seeing all of that. So you kind of gotta like not give a fuck, and you have to put on that face of like, you know, like yo, everything's all good, like having fun. This shit is a vibe and everything. Unlike like DJ Neva's with like Little John's picture. Remember that picture?
The rivalry.
Hey, why are you bringing that up again? Man, you squashed it, man.
Damn, man.
No, but I mean, that's a tough situation, man. That's crazy. That's a lot going on, and I'm sure like you have all these big acts coming through there that you have to like juggle, right? Pretty much at the pool over there at IU.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different people that come through. So it's like it's been crazy. So like, we had these fucking CDJ 3000s. You know, like they don't work well with Serato. So like,
yeah.
Tay James had issues with them. I've had issues with them. So I kind of like went to Record Box, like we were talking about, like you were talking about the other day.
Oh yeah.
But then I put all my cues in there, and then the other day, something in the settings, like when I hit my hot cue that I had, or I thought I had, it went back to like one of the first songs I played in the night. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. So it's a different setup every night. Like some nights there's an S9, some nights there's a 900, which doesn't really matter. But 3000s like are kind of different.
Wait,
but,
so with the 3000s, are you using a box or are you doing? How are you using?
There's no like Tiesto ain't gonna let you set up a box. Like your shit's got to be what he's gonna run. So I just play off the sticks when he plays, and then when like so I've done Jack Harlow, G-Eazy, and then Tiesto shows so far. So like Tiesto is just going to be the Tiesto thing. It's like you're going to run your 4 CDJs, and I'll just play sticks for that show. And then for the hip hop shows, like luckily I can use Serato for those because there's like a S9. And then because like the sticks are cool, but it's like you kind of need to have a library, you know. It's
yeah.
I'm not good enough on them. I played on sticks a lot in Playa in Mexico. It's because it gets so hot some days or whatever. But I was mostly playing like house music or like it's like kind of letting songs ride, you know.
How's Record Box been?
For me, I haven't had the greatest luck with it. Like just because the cue point thing I told you the other day.
Yeah. Like
I was mixing a song and then I hit a hot cue and then all of a sudden it reverted to some other song I was playing. Like, what the fuck? It's like I played on Serato, you know, like I don't know how many hours I played on Serato and like HID mode. So it's like I'm kind of used to doing the same thing all the time. So it's just a matter of getting used to it. I'm sure and it's just mixing music, you know, like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it's just getting used to it is a little bit different.
You guys have only been open barely a month, right? Pretty much, like
not even a month.
Yeah,
so
3
we've done.
weeks.
Yeah, so after grand opening was day club opening. So the first day was with Ruckus, which is cool.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about him.
With his electric, he has like he does the electric guitar thing on the CDJ.
Yeah, with the CDJ. Yeah, man.
He's a he's a rock star, bro. He's the way
he is. He's got his DJ Ruckus aura to him, you know.
Yeah, it's called
cool ass people.
It's called electric sex. That's his aura. That's no, he had a single called Electric Sex, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
Remember he made slip mats? There was electric.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yo, Never, you got some. I know you got some.
Fuck out of here.
For sure he does.
No, I'm saying he didn't give you. He didn't give you.
He didn't give me no. He didn't give me no slip mats.
I think Raw Swan or Rocticon has Electric Sex slip mats from Ruckus. It's crazy. No. It's I want to look that up, man.
Maybe a venue had them, but I did see them up front.
I swear, like I felt like he gave like everyone at Jet except me Electric Sex.
Nah, I didn't get none.
You didn't get none?
No.
I kind of want to like look on eBay and get an Electric Sex slip mat now. But no, he does that. He does that crazy CDJ electric guitar shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane when he does it. People love that shit. It's like he's a great showman. He's a great DJ. He really
is really good.
Yeah.
Really good DJ, really good person. Like he played with me in Cabo one time, and it's cool as fuck. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like it goes so far. Like I always tell people, like how you like act with people, how you interact with people. Like it goes so far to where you're gonna get booked. Like because eventually, none of these EDM guys do. I was eventually gonna have a hand in who gets booked for March. But it's like we're in a conversation like, who do we like? Who sells? And like we brought Loud Luxury back because they crushed it. But I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers are cool. Like they're the coolest dudes. Like I love working with them. I like working with Party Favor. Like there's a bunch of guys. I'm like, yo, these guys are dope as fuck. Like let's bring them back if we can. And even that's the guys that are beyond what any of us will ever pull dollar wise, you know. And it goes so far, man. Like just fucking treat people good, you know. Like I knew at Cabo like everybody. I walked through the kitchen every day. Like I'd go fuck around, like cook some tacos with the guys. Like I do the whole shit. Like I go behind the bar and bartend, like whatever. Like I just had fun. Like I got to know every single person there. Yeah. And it goes so far with just like, yo, treat people good. Like treat everybody the same. And like that shit will reciprocate in the long run. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we're all just like, if it doesn't, you know, it takes every single person to make the shit work. Like, if you don't have a good door guy, you know, if your security sucks and you have people passed out on the floor, like, okay, well, your club's gonna suck, you know. Like, if your bartenders suck, or if your servers, like, it's so much. It just, you know, everybody's like, oh, I'm a fucking DJ, like I'm a superstar and this and that. Like, we're just kind of like, you know, we're little cogs in the wheel. Like, we're here. Like, my job on a lot of these days is to make sure I don't fuck everything up. And I know that. I'm like, I'm gonna show out, like I'm gonna do my thing and really, really try to make sure like people remember me. But in the grand scheme of things, like, my job is to not fuck up before Tiesto gets on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. In days of the headline, like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit more of an ego about him, like a little bit more swag about what I'm doing. But it's like, even when Tiesto plays, I'm like, okay, when he gets done, I'm gonna try to kill what he did. Like, I'm gonna get on, you know, throw a couple cuts in, like do a couple things like that he doesn't do, and like, okay, like try to get remembered. But yeah, man, it's just such a crazy, like, what we do is so cool, man. Like, we literally get paid to go fuck around and play music. Like,
yeah. I feel like a lot of opener closers forget about the closing set. I feel like they, you know, like the opening set it's like you said, we're all working as a team. I know we talked about openers and closers all the time, but the closing set is really the time to fucking murder it. You know, like once the headliner is done, the opener closer can really get on afterwards and be like, yo,
it's time to shine.
It's time to shine. And it's like one of those things, whenever like an opener is just doing too much before the headliner, you could just tell like there's like an insecurity level. I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? It's just like you're doing way too much. You don't have to prove to me or anybody or the club that you deserve to be here. Like, you deserve to be here. You know what I'm saying? Or you should be headlining. I agree. You should be headlining. But that's not your job right now. You know what I'm saying? But when it's time to close, go off. And like, if you go off, like if I'm headlining, if you're going off, I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna hang with you. You know, there's many times like I was in Tao, Chicago with DJ Heavy. We spoke about it a few weeks. Like, yo, he's the resident at Tao, Chicago. You know, he would close for me. He'd be going off. I'd get on the mic. I'd amp him up. Like, we just keep it. We'd be drinking and having fun, and like he's straight killing it, and I'm on the mic and we just having fun. I'm like, yo, have you fucking killed that shit, yo? That shit was fun. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where that's really what openers and closers really got to learn. They have to really set the tone in the beginning, right before the headliner gets on. But yeah, I mean, I miss those closing sets. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's because you can really go off. You can really go. And plus, you're like counting. You're like, when the headliner's up there, you're like, okay, he didn't play this. He didn't play this.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
He didn't play this. He didn't play this. And like, oh man, I'm gonna go off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's like a dope feeling when you have that. Like, all right, it's like you're next up to bat. You're like, yo, I'm about to hit this motherfucker out the park. Like, yo, it's,
always, always, every single time. It's like, yo, okay, I got, you have your whatever 30 tracks in your head. Like, okay, this is gonna bang tonight. Like, this is gonna work tonight.
Yeah.
And okay, like they play this, but like, oh, you forgot this one. Okay, I got this. But like, same thing with openers. You know, like I had like DJ Gordo open for me in Chicago. Like, all those cats are so fucking good. Like, like there's so many dope DJs. Like, there's plenty of DJs that are better than me. Like, I'll be the first to admit it. Like, these guys are so fucking good. I'm like, damn, they're killing it. And like, but like, they're not even jumping on the new shit. They're just playing such a dope set. You're like, damn, this shit's sick. Like, I just want to sit there. I'm like, damn, like, I wish you could play all night, you know? Like, I'll get on and do my thing, but it's like, yo, but it's crazy. Like, there's so many different ways to open. It's like, I take a lot of pride in everything I do. Like, I never like, I'm not just like, okay, I got my job, I'm cool. I have a contract, I'm cool. Like, no, like, I'm gonna like, my set, like, I make a crate every week because I have to show a crate to Tiesto. It's like, this crate's gonna probably have 50 new songs and probably have 50 songs out of that.
Wait, so Tiesto has to see what you're gonna play, pretty much?
Yeah, I have to basically get it approved. But I give him like a crate of like 150 songs.
Oh wow.
So that's like, yeah. So like, certain guys are like that. Certain DJs are like that, where it's like, just to make sure you're not gonna play their shit or anything that's gonna be their set. Yeah. And like, water their shit down, which is kind of cool because it takes the stress off me. So if I'm like gonna play "Show Me Love" or like a remix of it, like, I don't have to worry like, oh, he just plays "Show Me Love." Like, you know, because there's like certain songs that are a lot of us play.
Wait, so do you have a list of what not to play, or he just needs to see what you're about to play, and then he says no, 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 yes, 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 or whatever? Like,
I just send him what I'm going to play. He's never said no to anything I played.
Oh, he just wants to know, like, okay, that's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna fucking play Booyah at fucking 11 o'clock at night, you know?
Right.
Or like Pursuit at, you know what I mean? Like that type of vibe.
Right.
So for me, it makes my night a lot less stressful. I'm like, yo, I can like, okay, I know I can just like bang this out, whatever I have in here. Like I can play whatever hip hop I want. I play hip hop.
Right.
And like it's easier for me. Yeah, it's a lot easier for me to open for a EDM DJ than an open format guy.
Yeah.
As open format, I'm like, oh, I better not play pop that. I better not play this. I better not, you know, there's certain songs I'm like, okay, like I can get people to put their hands up. I'm like, he might play that. So like, I'm like more in my head.
Yeah.
Like if I'm opening for a ruckus versus if I'm opening for Tiesto, I know it's going to be this vibe up here. And I'm like, okay, I can just kind of like, I could drop down and do a 15-minute hip hop set once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And like, cause you know, if you're doing a 4-hour open, it's like, basically like playing a whole night, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like you have in Vegas, you know, people come in, they've been drinking all day. Like they come in at level fucking 10 and like, you got to bring them back down a little bit, but still keep them engaged. And then like, I don't know, like for me, every song I play, I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't lose the crowd. You know, like they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay all night they're waiting for the headline. But in my mind, I'm like, I want to do a fucking great job, you know?
It's interesting at the Wynn. The openers, like I guess the music directors and entertainment directors have been telling the openers, and this is maybe for the past few years, that they need to have a 10 to 20 minute cool down set right before the headliner. It's like
smart.
It's mandatory, and they don't let any of the openers or anyone who's DJing before the headliner get on the mic, because they believe that whoever's headlining, that's the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they tell the openers, like, yo, there's a 10-minute cool down right before Diplo gets on, or, you know, Chainsmokers gets on, or whoever gets on. You have to cool it down. So you're not, I think there was like a couple of openers who were just going ham, like right before Diplo got on. He's like, yo, y'all gotta chill. Like, I need like a 20-minute cool down, or I need a 30-minute cool down or something. Like, so like literally they work that shit into like the operations at the club, which I thought was interesting. Like, because it's like as headliners, like when you come into a situation, you have to just deal with all these different types of DJs, and you know, they're all different. Like one DJ is like chill, one DJ is just like going fucking ham. Another opener's all on the mic doing extra shit, and then you have to like find a way to like revert that energy. Yeah. And the whole point is that these dudes don't care, because when they get off, it's like whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's not my problem. Like, yo, you're on next. You fucking figure it out. It's all
you.
Yeah, they fucking put their hand up like they just won the championship game and shit. That's like playing in LA. You play in LA, these motherfuckers play everything before you. Mic the whole time. Like, I remember playing this one spot in LA. Like, it was Mo Bamba right before me. Like, all the shits. Like, everything. Just, like this, like, nonstop. Like, yo, like, cool. Like, cool. Like, okay, I can't play anything new now, which is fine. But it's like after, like, you almost have to reset the room for yourself sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know, like, you come across that a lot. Like, I mostly headlined for like the last year before pandemic, because I was like playing a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
And like, it's I don't know, like, it's good to have both perspectives, because I'm like, okay, I kind of know what my job is as an opener, and then if I headline it, it's on. Like,
so yeah.
But you'll hear guys before, you're like, fuck, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, kind of pisses you off sometimes, you know?
Well, I think before the pandemic, we were all kind of like, we weren't like, we kind of let it go. Yeah. Like, we like, if an opener was burning us, or if an opener was like doing extra shit on the mic and like being like going ham and like turning it up, and like, you know, I think like everyone was kind of letting it go. But I think now, I think it's different now for some reason. I don't know why it is, but I just feel like at this point, I think it is different. Like, if you don't know how to DJ and you don't know how to open, like you need to learn. You need to understand how to read the room a little bit, right? It's a little different. It's like Momo when Momo was on the show. Remember, he was like, I'm not going to make excuses or try to save I'm not going to try to save people like when motherfuckers are trying to sabotage the room anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little different now. It's like after this past year, if we working, like do the right thing and do shit right, kind of a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I think I like that cool down thing though, where they were like, yo, we're going to cool it down 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I was actually surprised that it was actually worked into operations. Like, like motherfuckers, like managers and directors actually had a meeting about it. And they're like, look, like we have to change this. And this is like part of regulations that all the openers and the DJs have to follow. So I was like, it's really interesting, and honestly, it makes a DJ, if I'm an opener, it makes me a better DJ. Right?
100%.
Yeah. Because
just gotta play a part.
It makes me a better DJ because then I just start searching other music, and I start learning and I start learning all these other things instead of just like going to the same things that work all the time, that the headliner might play and everything. And that's what it really all comes down to. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? Flight, is there anything else you want to touch on? Pause.
I don't think so, man. I'm all good.
Yeah, he's been waiting for you to ask him that because you didn't see his reaction. He was like, finally.
I was like, damn, I'm gonna pause all day. What the fuck? This is not gonna be good.
So, what venues are you doing at Resorts World?
Okay, so I do everything at Resorts World, but I'm mostly nightclub stuff. So right now we're IU Nights. So IU Nights is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. So that's like EDM shows, hip hop shows, whatever we end up booking. IU Day Club is also EDM. It's mostly EDM and house. And then on Sundays we have Moonbeam Sundays, which is all at IU Day Club for now. And Moonbeam is like all house music. So like we had Disclosure, we have MK, Jamie Jones, Camel Fat, bunch of dope acts coming on Sundays.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So Zouk nightclub opens, I believe it's Labor Day weekend.
Really?
Yeah, we got 3 weekends in a row of J Balvin takeover. So it's gonna be crazy. We got like our resident lineup is sick, and dude, it's the best company. Like the CEO has been there every show, just hype me, give me 42 shots, pour champagne down my throat. Like
nice.
Nice.
Cool people, man. It's just
welcome to Vegas,
really
man.
Welcome to Vegas.
Yeah. Enjoy.
I appreciate you guys, man. I don't have a guest list unless I've known you for years, so I don't have a guest list, man.
Don't hit him up on the DM saying, "Hey, I'm coming through." Yeah. I was gonna ask you. You posted about this one venue in particular that I kind of want to go visit. Red Tail.
Yeah. So I play Red Tail too. Red Tail is our sports lounge. It's our sports lounge. It's like we have like 100 TVs or something, 100 screens, wow. Free like basketball game, free Street Fighter, all that stuff. Super dope venue. There's like beer pong, like giant beer pong, all that stuff. So great venue. We also have Famous Foods at the casino, which is like 16 little restaurants that serve like specialty dishes. So there's like a Peking duck taco place. There's
I've been there. It's been good. They have like every Asian cuisine in like
man,
it's like it's a crazy food court.
Yeah. Super dope.
It's expensive though. That shit is expensive though. Over there.
It is.
I go to dinner sparingly out here,
I
wait for my invites.
Me and Never went to that shit, and it was like $20 for 4 dumplings. I was like, yo, they caking off over here.
Hey man.
Hey yo, Flight. Once again, man, thank you for coming through with the podcast. It's been a pleasure, man. We'll see you out there.
See you soon, man.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you guys having me, man. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Cheers.
All right, man. Take care, y'all. Cheers.
Peace, man.
Peace.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.